Hi, so welcome back to Real Auto Reports for another Real First Impressions video edition, this time on the all-new 2015 Subaru Outback. Yes, this is a pretty interesting vehicle with all new components that we'll talk about as we do our walk around. So let's jump in. So from the front in 2015, Subaru calls this a bolder styling. I don't see a ton of difference from the previous generation, but you do notice a little bit here, so I'll give them a little bit of credit. There are some nice running lights here that outline the headlights. They are projector style up here in the front. You have some nice detail lines that don't follow the A-pillar exactly, but kind of cut. They do this and then down the hood, which gives you some movement in the front of the vehicle. You've got some nice beveling here in the nose, and of course, this whole front area is got a nice design to it. It's a little thicker, a little bit more aggressive, and I like what they're doing with the styling in the Subaru brand. I think the Forester and now this 2015 Outback are better than they've ever been in the past, and they're taking the Subaru customers forward, and they are a loyal bunch. They really love their cars, and they are capable vehicles. Notice that we also have the fog light package here. These are large fog lights for the segment and for vehicles in general, great for the off-road kind of perspective, hiking, and all of that kind of thing that you might do with a vehicle that sits pretty high. You might notice that for a wagon, 8.7 inches of ground clearance. Now in the four-cylinder, you're going to have a grille shutter system that closes to get better fuel economy out on the highway. But we have the 3.6R here, so you don't have that feature in the six-cylinder boxer engine. Let's take a look at the side of this 2015 Outback and see what's changed and what is interesting to point out. All right, so from the side here in the 2015 Subaru Outback, again, you notice the height off the ground with this car pretty much immediately, that 8.7 inches of ground clearance. Also notice in the Limited, the 3.6R Limited we have here, top of the range, we have our 18-inch Subaru wheels. I like the black and the polished face here, if you will. It is a very nice look, and your rubber still sticks out beyond the rim enough to make it durable. They're not flush, so you won't curb them as easily, yet this is still getting a little bit more in the luxury segment where the rubber is not wrapping as much as you would find on some of the more off-road style crossovers. So you do want to watch these wheel faces in town or on rocks off-road. But notice the plastic cladding along the bottom here, again, for durability and to make sure that you don't damage the paint, so it's not a painted bottom there for off-roading and inclement weather. You have your strong roof rack here. Now this is an adaptive roof rack, and you can do different things with it. You can lift it up and twist it so that the rails go across so that you can mount things to it. It is in a mode to make it more aerodynamic right now so that those cross rails aren't creating wind drag. That's a pretty cool feature. Now, I think that this is probably one of the least pleasing parts of the car just because it is so bulky to look at. But it is meant for functionality, and it doesn't take away from the car too much, in my opinion. Do notice the strong body line here that comes, the midline here that comes out of the tail light and goes all the way down and kind of disappears right above the front fender arch. But you have another strong line that comes off of this door edge here, so there's a little bit of a bevel, and goes straight through the front headlights that stick out and are kind of dimensional up there in the front. This is a neat looking car, rear spoiler for drag. I think you're going to like it if you like this wagon style of crossover and if you're a Subaru fan. Now, the complaint I've heard about these vehicles, and you can see it from the side, is that the Outback just keeps getting bigger. It is a little bit bigger, about half an inch or so longer, a little bit wider, and a little bit longer wheelbase, but all of the benefits it brings you might change your mind. Let's go take a look at the back, and then we'll head on to the interior to see what's changed there. All right, so from the rear here, you have your typical features, your rear backup camera with your camera right here down below, your rear windshield wiper, rear spoiler, third brake light for safety. Of course, this vehicle does not have some of the features that you'll find on higher end vehicles like rear park assist, which kind of in this $36,000, $37,000 range you might expect to have, but the rear backup camera and the rear guidance that it has in terms of cross path detection will help quite a bit in terms of making sure that nothing's in your path when you're reversing. It also has nice features that you would expect in the segment, like the rear hatch here that auto opens and auto closes from the key. That is an excellent feature. It's one that I point out most times because you should be able to do both open and close from the key, and not all manufacturers have that capability yet. You also have some neat features here from a first impressions perspective where you can flip down the rear seats right here from these new levers. That's brand new from 2015. And what's also nice is the seat backs, to put them down from inside the rear doors is a press down button and they just drop flat. Notice the flat load floor, that's also an improvement for 2015. As we close the door here, we got to go around to the interior and see what's new there, and then we'll talk about the engine under the hood. All right, so from the driver's seat here inside the 2015 Subaru Outback, there are some nice features in this car. Memory seats, you have your nice leather wrapped steering wheel, entertainment system. The infotainment system in this vehicle is new. It's over 6 inches and it has a nice flat kind of integrated touch screen that looks high end. This is a nice improvement for Subaru. It brings them more into the competitive landscape from a technology perspective. It's not as integrated from a first impressions perspective as the Uconnect systems in the Chryslers and in the Dodge and Jeep products, but it is much better than I think the previous generation infotainment system, and I think Subaru owners and fans will be appreciative. This is also a vehicle that has a whole host of options, which you can kind of see by this panel here to the left of the wheel. It has the rear hatch opening button, it has the blind spot monitoring button, the lane departure button. You have your adaptive cruise on the steering wheel. You can control the full color display in between the gauges here on the left. That includes a big speedometer, your trip computer. Everything's nice and contained here in the center between the analog gauges, and that is nice. It keeps your eyes all focused. You also have dual climate control, which you would expect, and 3-stage heated seats for both front passengers. This vehicle also has the optional second row heated seats, which is nice and goes well for the winter climate. Some things that are missing from a first impressions perspective, well, you've added the key fob and the smart intelligent entry and exit and the push button start, but no auto start that we found on the car from the key. Maybe there's an app or something that'll do that, but we didn't find it for this particular review. Maybe you can leave us a comment if you know differently. This is a nice car though from an interior perspective. Perforated leather around the vehicle, two-tone wood accents, and I think you'll find it pretty comfortable as well. Let's go check out what's under the hood and look at this 3.6 liter Boxer flat 6 and the improvements Subaru's made to it. So under the hood, the 2015 Subaru Outback in this particular test model has the 3.6 liter Boxer flat 6 engine. This has about 256 horsepower and over 200 foot-pounds of torque and a good torque range. It's going to be flexible. It's going to give you good power and really use that torque vectoring all-wheel drive, which has also been updated for the 2015 model year. You also have in all models now the CVT transmission. The CVT transmission seems better than it ever has before in this vehicle. The pairing to the torque vectoring all-wheel drive and the vehicle stability systems is going to deliver a nice driving experience, which we'll talk about coming up next. But from a fuel economy perspective, Subaru's also made some improvements, both in the 4-cylinder that you can also get the flat 4 Boxer engine, and this flat 6, you're going to see miles per gallon improvement. And in this one, it's about 2 miles per gallon in every category moving away from the 2014 and into the 2015 model year. So it's 22 miles per gallon combined, 27 out on the freeway, and a 20 mile per gallon city rating here for our 2015 3.6 liter Subaru Outback. You're going to see up to 33 miles per gallon out on the freeway with the 4-cylinder. So if you're mileage conscious and you're not as interested in performance or really getting that kind of zippy feeling that this 3.6 liter will have, then check out the flat 4 and you probably will be very happy with it because it does get excellent fuel economy for the size of vehicle, this mid-size kind of crossover. Well, that's really what we have to talk about under the hood. Now we need to tell you how it drives. All right, so on this real first impressions driving perspective of the 2015 Subaru Outback, all new, yes, and exciting with the limited option package here and the large 3.6 liter Boxer 6-cylinder motor. Yes, it's easy to call it a V6, but we won't. It is a flat 6 configuration, Boxer being the famous brand here in the Subaru lineup, the famous configuration, I should say. This vehicle, from a driving perspective, is new for 2015. It has revised suspension. It has torque vectoring all-wheel drive. It has refined systems. It has the new and updated EyeSight here from a driving perspective. The 3.6 liter is getting better fuel economy with the all-wheel drive in 2015. Our EPA ratings here on our Monroney sheet say 22 miles per gallon combined, 20 city and 27 highway here for the 2015 Subaru Outback all-wheel drive limited 3.6R, which is what we have here. It also has the newer CVT transmission. You have better cabin noise reduction, so it is quieter and more comfortable to ride in. Tons of technology, assistive technology for better cornering, so it has more neutral handling due to the vehicle stability control and the torque vectoring all-wheel drive. You may have heard that on some of the other models. It also has the new X mode like we saw on the Subaru Forester back about a year ago for 14. This is a vehicle that has really come into its own. 8.7 inches of ground clearance, yet in 15 it's just a little bit bigger, about a ½ inch or 0.6 inches longer. It's a little bit wider and just a little bit longer in the wheelbase as well. But you don't notice from the previous generation that it's really that much bigger. From a driving perspective, with blind spot monitoring, available rear camera like we have on this one, with the cross path detection and all of that type of stuff, and the lane keep assist, you know, basically telling you if you're going out of your lane or wandering. This vehicle is packed with options, and at this top of the line package and price, it's going to be setting you back, as tested, around $37,000 or so, just a little bit under in the package we have here according to the Monroney. That is pretty darn cool for a Subaru that has navigation, heated front and rear seats, and just the driving characteristics of a Subaru, which in this Outback have been improved with the new technologies. From a first impressions perspective, you wouldn't know that all of this has changed just looking at it. In fact, I had to send a note to Subaru and say, I seem to remember something about the new 15, but looking at it, I wanted to know exactly what was new. And indeed, it is pretty much all new from the ground up. The block's different in the engine. Both the 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder Boxer engines have been refined, better fuel economy in both engine categories, and you're going to find better safety technology and driving characteristics, as well as comfort and just livability characteristics in this vehicle. Make sure you come back for our real video, the detailed review on this car. We'll have that coming up in the not too distant future, but until then, let's do our real wrap-up and we'll close out on this Real First Impressions. So that's the Real First Impressions video edition on this 2015 Subaru Outback. Yes, this is the 3.6R Limited, making it really the top of the line in the model family, and we have it optioned up in this test car, bringing it in at its as tested price just under $37,000. That's not bad for all of the equipment and technology that is in it, especially the new things like the torque vectoring all-wheel drive. Of course, you have the revised and updated EyeSight, which helps prevent front collisions and helps keep you safe. Blind spot monitoring, lane departure, all of that fun stuff, adaptive cruise, you name it, this vehicle almost has it all. It doesn't have some options though, like the auto start from the key, which would be nice, especially in cold climates here in Colorado, and it doesn't have ventilated front seats, but it does have heated front seats and heated second row with a 2-stage heated second row, which I think is pretty nice. It's something that your passengers will appreciate in the colder months of the year. Now, getting on to some other improvements, this vehicle has also seen improvements in the engines, both 4 and 6-cylinder boxer motors. Yes, those are the flat configurations, and these have seen some good mileage improvements. The 6-cylinder we have here, the 3.6 liter, will see 2 miles per gallon better in almost every category than the previous outgoing 2014 model year. So this will see about 22 miles per gallon combined, and all the way up to 27 miles per gallon out on the freeway. Also, the 4-cylinder will see up to 33 miles per gallon out on the freeway. It is a neat set of figures coming out of revised technology from Subaru, and it makes this vehicle definitely worth a look in the crossover segment. So make sure you check it out. That's our first impressions. We'll have more details for you on our real video coming up soon, and make sure you take a look at our real update video coming out very shortly, talking more in depth about all the updates for 2015 on this Subaru Outback. Subscribe to the channel, like us on Facebook, and join the conversation in the comments and by commenting in our Facebook channel stream as well, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. I'm Jonathan McGrew, Real Auto Reports, and we'll see you down the road.